300 SDL rear axle swap. Improvement or not? So recently we swapped a 2.47 differential from a 560 SEL into a 126.134. I think that's a 300 SDL. If I'm wrong, let me know. Maybe it's a 126.132. But regardless, I really love the 300 SDL. It's a fantastic car. Like many Mercedes from the era, you had to deal with 3,000 RPM at 70 miles an hour or similar. And I decided that because this car was going to be used mostly for highway driving, that I was going to do something about it. So our starting point was a really nice 300 SDL with a great transmission. You have to have a really great transmission. You need a really great car with a great transmission. So you've got to have a strong engine that works right, that pulls good, a good turbo, and your transmission can't be worn out or on the verge of failing. Now, here's what I observed. My RPM at 72 miles an hour was 3,000. Now at 3,000 RPM, I'm at 86 to 87 miles an hour, which is really great. At 90 miles an hour, I'm just at 3,100 RPM, which is an exponential increase. Couple of things I had to do, though, to make this conversion actually work. The first thing is that I had to send my speedometer to Palo Alto speedometer with the pulse ratio from a 560 SEC to have it calibrated. Then I had the calibration checked using a GPS. Then, on top of that, I had to get the right wheels and tires for this car. Now, I went with a 205/70 15 tire instead of a 205/65 15 tire because I wanted the tallest tire possible. In this case, I actually raised the car using the tallest spring pads I could get so that we don't have the oil pan issue, and in case my buddy who owns this car is driving down the road and somebody leaves an ice chest falls out of the back of somebody's pickup truck because Florida man did not put enough beer or ice in the ice chest when he was going fishing, that he can successfully run over it, smash it to pieces, and keep going without worrying about oil pan problems. But overall, I'd say that in reducing engine speed and not consuming a bunch of power, extra power, this conversion was a success. Here's where I've noted some difficulties. The car is a little slower off the line. Just a little bit, maybe 1 to 1.5 seconds to 60. So we'll call the acceleration difference negligible, but you do have to push the gas harder and work the transmission harder to make the car behave better. You're not going to get the same effortless acceleration. The car feels a lot heavier, like it's pulling a lot more weight around. So you start to feel the 3,600 pounds of 300 SDL. The other area where I didn't gain much of an improvement was in fuel economy. I have to work so much harder to pull the car around that fuel economy went down in the city by about 1 mile per gallon, and on the highway it improved by maybe 1.5 to 2 miles. I have to push the car harder, but also I can drive faster, so I'm still using 1,000 RPM. But instead of driving in the middle lane, getting passed by, a bunch of guys driving lifted trucks, I'm in the left lane passing them at 80 plus miles an hour comfortably. So the net gain in fuel economy might have been mitigated by the fact that the car is indeed faster to drive. Now, a third thing that I really have to bring out is the difficulty of this conversion. There are a couple of ways you could slice the pie. You could get the 2.47 differential, and you could get axle flanges, axle hubs from a 300 SL or similar car, 1990 and later, because these are wider and they will accommodate the half shafts from the 300 SDL, the original half shafts. But of course, I have to do everything the most complicated way possible. So what I did was I used new 560 SEL axles. I got new CV joints from Mercedes that go on the ends of the axles. But to make those axles, because dimensionally they are different, okay, they are different, what I had to do was I had to take the 300 SDL axle, which is longer, believe it or not. I'm not joking. It is longer. The two do not straightforwardly interchange. And the 560 SEL inner CV joint, which I had to cut the axle down so that the CV joint would go on all the way. So that's another important thing. And then I had to take the 560 SEL axle flange and put the original flange back to the differential. And the whole thing just barely fit. It was really hard getting those axles in there. I mean, really hard. But we got them in and they didn't bind or do anything weird. And I have to say that the back end is actually a lot quieter now. I don't hear any lash effect, which is good. So if you want more information on this conversion and other axle conversions for your Mercedes, let me know. Drop us a line in the comments. Come see us at Amelia Island. If you're watching this on Saturday and you're sitting on your couch and you're in Florida, you're in the wrong place. Please like, share, and subscribe, and to all of our Patreon members, thank you so much. And enjoy working on and improving your Mercedes Benz.